of course, you saw McBain get hurt in the Prospects game. So bad luck followed the Flyers around until we got to the later half of the season.
There's the centering pass. Speaking of McBain, gets to that quick shot. Stopped by Berezynski. And this one goes out of play as well. So just to update you as well, no Michael Aloise or Tanner Hicks in the lineup for YSE, and perhaps the only time we can say this all year. Nobody to scratch on the Don Mills Flyers roster.
Like we said, when we saw the McBain injury on what was a really nonchalant, he put his arm out to throw a check, and we were wondering, what is going on with this Flyers team? Talk about bad luck all throughout the year. And that's why Daniel Bachner and Kevin Wilson and, of course, Andrew McBain, the former NHLer, they were on the bench. They were keeping the kids focused. They had a few call-ups with the Bantams, but really they kept building, and they've peaked at a perfect time here at the OHL Cup.
And we saw DeVoe and Weiss as call-ups a year ago with the Don Mills Flyers, and you can almost see in the way Weiss is playing, he doesn't want to be on the losing end again, and not many guys have the opportunity to come back and do it again. I did the broadcast this morning with Dana Pete, and we were just talking about how a lot of these guys, you get one chance in your life, and that's it, the OHL Cup.
Well, there's a few pretty good players that didn't even qualify through their team with the OHL Cup, so you kind of look at the field of 20. We talked about the fact there were 5 wildcard teams, so 15 spots were confirmed. 10 other teams fought for 5 spots, so really, the format is so great now, no one can complain about selections and, oh, we didn't get picked. It's all about performance, and if you can get into that wild card, the Flyers have showed you anything can happen.
York Simcoe Express, they clear it out. Heno to Jan Weiss. He's looking around, looks behind him and in front of him. He sees dark jerseys, so he plays it high off the glass. Jan will send it in. Flyers make changes. Here comes McPherson, smooth skating defenseman. We saw him use his skill and his size in that quarterfinal. A couple big hits and nice solid defensive plays. One of the more highly touted players, but here comes Weeks. Speaking of, 40 puts on the brakes, backhand pass, a nice one, centers it. Manserov couldn't settle it down, and now Berezynski knocks that up with his own paddle and scoops it out of the air, out of harm's way. And there again, though, Weiss on the ice with the puck, causing chaos, havoc every time he's out there.
Well, Manserov realized that his teammate was ahead of him, and I like what he did. He saw Weiss go down with some speed, and he hangs back and almost connects. So you've got to know your teammates, and that's what Manserov is playing off the speed of Weiss.
Shot from the point. That one was blocked before it could find a way to the net. So it's worked around here on the near side. Swearin with a hit. 3 Flyers players sitting back in the neutral zone. Here comes Hillis. His centering pass stopped, and we're seeing the Flyers trying to take a page out of what the Rebels did with Hillis, Pete, is just not allow him time and space to get going with the puck, as that shot is stopped easily by Bucco. But every time in that morning matchup Hillis had the puck, you saw 2 Rebels right on him before he could even get 3 or 4 steps going. They just want to try to neutralize his speed.
Well, if you're York Simcoe, you know Hillis is going to take some extra attention. So one of the things we saw in the round robin was his teammates were almost trying to force it to him. And in a tournament like this, if the number 1 D-core wants to cover the number 1 offensive player on the other side, then you've got to create offense somewhere else. And York Simcoe's deep enough that you don't have to force it into Hillis. He's still got his points in this tournament. That's the amazing part, because he's going against someone who knows, okay, number 1 guy out there, I've got to play a shutdown role.
You saw quickly there on your screen, head coach Rob Shilton, very proud of what his boys have been able to accomplish, and they've done a great job, him and his coaching staff, Matt Hogan and Greg Such. Centering pass, McDougall couldn't find it. Robertson with a quick shot. That one's gloved, or sorry, off the pad, excuse me, of Mayhew. As Robertson hits the line, tries to make a move. Showing us his puck handling ability. Robertson slows it down. Now the outlet pass. McKim gets to that one before Gravel. McKim centering pass just out of the reach of Whitaker. He was all tied up. McBain is all over Robertson. Penalty coming up. There's a nice hit.
Oh, very heavy stick from McBain. He reaches out. He gets in the hand area as well. And referee Ryan Harrison going with the interference right there. We're going to see the call here. It was before then, Bill. The big body check wasn't a penalty. That wasn't a call there.
Good hit.
The big hit right there. And the officials have been under scrutiny all week long as well. Andrew Wilmotz and Ryan Harrison working the semis with Michael Markovic and David Milne on the line. So they were in a competition as well, as Jaden Vaughn's going to go to the box with an interference call. And York Simcoe just a little confused there. There was some activity after the whistle. People weren't sure if it was going to be a power play or 5-on-5, so the officials give York Simcoe that line change as soon as they realized, hey, you're on the power play.
Well, it's been a pretty disciplined game so far. Just our first power play. And we've just crossed the 11-minute mark in this second period. York Simcoe Express, 7 for 28 on the power play in this tournament. Good for 25%. And you know the Flyers would like to stay out of the box because their PK, 76%. Here's McDougall. What a battle. Great job there by Declan Chisholm. We always praise his skating ability and his puck handling ability, but right there, just an example of what he can do with and without the puck. Cranston works it back to Robertson. Thought perhaps his twig exploded. It did. So he's got no stick. Coming at him is Rhodes. Wrister gloved by Berezynski. Just getting enough of that one.
I'm not sure if Rhodes realized what he had in front of him, a defender without a stick. He seemed a little nonchalant, perhaps because he was tired at the end of the penalty kill shift.
There was Hillis to Vuko, centering pass. It works its way back to McPherson, the quarterback of this power play. Quick shot, that one stopped on the spin around. McKim, it's not there. Vuko, Hillis, loose puck, scores! McLean! On the power play, YSE, they do it again and they tie this one up.
Well, McLean's not going to score an easier one. I mean, wide open because of the puck movement on the other side of the net there. York Simcoe taking advantage of the man advantage and finding a way just to get shots on goal. They don't have to be pretty. The rebound acts as a pass, and McLean is wide open just to the left there, and Mayhew has no opportunity, and you called it, Bill. This potent power play needs to be kept 5-on-5 if Don Mills has any chance tonight.
YSC's 8th power play goal. They've scored 17 in the tournament, 8 on the power play.
And they've been spread through. It's not like they racked them all up in one game against a weak opponent. I mean, the power play has been successful in the 4 round robin games and through the quarterfinal and now the semi.
When you're in playoffs or these one-and-done tournaments, special teams and goaltending, so important. Berezynski's been great, and their special teams also. Their power play numbers we mentioned, outstanding. And their PK in the regular season, Pete, in the OMHA, the penalty kill for York Simcoe Express, 94% success rate. Unbelievable stuff. As now the Flyers look to respond and retake the lead. This one's backhanded out. Gravel gets down on both knees to scoop this one up. Here comes Hillis. The little spin move, one hand across. Teammates were changing, so nobody was there back door to receive that feed. Robertson quickly to McPherson. And with the long change in the second period, the forward door is in the offensive zone. So a player just getting off a little late causes that offside. But how about that tandem of having Robertson and McPherson paired together? As we know, McPherson's skating ability, a bit more of the shutdown guy, where Robertson likes to jump in on the offense. 22 goals for Robertson, the D-man this year.
Well, when you saw his goal in overtime, you're saying this isn't a guy that likes to sit back. If he's a defenseman and he's up there on OT, then you know he's a guy that likes to jump into the rush.
Here's Vaughn, quick wrister, and Berezynski out where the white and blue ice meet. He holds on and makes a save. So just to get you caught up as well, we had 20 teams initially in this OHL Cup who qualified for the round robin. So in the Lindros division, it was Hamilton Junior Bulldogs, Junior Canadians who made it out. In the Nash division, the wildcard Quinte Red Devils and the Toronto Marlies were number 2. In the Subban division, YSE finished first with the Red Wings second. And finally, the Shanahan division, as that one's bobbled that shot through traffic. Flyers finished number 1 after beating the Rebels, and the Rebels were number 2. There's that pass across. What a save by Mayhew. Getting across and robbing YSE. Here's another highlight reel save added to the list that's been growing over the course of this tournament.
Well, you can see York Simcoe gaining the neutral zone with speed. Some great passing options right there. That's a shot for most players. Look at what it turns into. A great pass right across the front of the crease by Matthew McDougall, and shows you just how potent this York Simcoe offense is. Instead of taking the easy, the good shot, made it even a great play with a pass right there.
Very sneaky too. Casual zone entrance offensively, then all of a sudden, just like that.
Quick wrist. It looked like a wrist shot to the goaltender. Mayhew turns into a pass.
Draw one by the Flyers on the near side at the half wall. DeVoe sends this one forward for Vaughn. He's got McBain trailing him. Vaughn's got Cranston on him. Here is the captain, McBain, forced out of the offensive zone. Good job defensively there by McLean. What I like so far from both of these teams, Pete, as McDougall gets tied up, and power play number 2 for York Simcoe Express. The Flyers, we mentioned they need to stay out of the box, and getting caught a little flat-footed, a little too much stick work and not skating hard enough there.
Well, Gravel had support there, and I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to slow the player down, but he kind of leaves his stick out there. You can say, well, McDougall looked like he just skated onto it. Well, either way, Gravel, you've got support. Back up a bit. Use your support. Switch with your partner, and that's where the vocal side, the communication side, has to always be in play, and it was real quiet just before that. And that's where, as a D-man, you've got to be talking to each other. Say, I got you covered. I got you. And let him through on the lane.
4 forwards out there now on this power play for York Simcoe Express. Rister deflects up and over the net. Hill is posting up far near the face-off circle on the left side. They're looking for him backdoor. They tried that a couple times, and McLean, he had an opening there. His initial pass was blocked. He tried it again. Here's Hillis getting across Mayhew. McPherson is Rister right into the breadbasket of Matthew Mayhew. Good chance there for YSE. They like that backdoor play. They either have Hillis set up for a one-timer on the off wing, or he'll sneak in backdoor and they try to get it cross crease pass to him.
Well, Rhodes, the defender for the Flyers, he knows that. He's cheating over at Hillis. So like we said, take what you can get. So on the other side, you've got more room to work with, while one of your players is worried about covering the leading scorer who doesn't even have the puck.
Here is Hillis backing off near the top of the circle to McPherson. They go to the other side to Whitaker. In the middle on the backhand, McKim lost it before he could get a shot off. Here's Whitaker again. Nice puck movement here by the Express. McKim in the slot, down low, McLean. Nice save by Mayhew to get the body across. Up against the post to keep that one out. This YSE power play looking dangerous again, and they score again. McKim, his 6th goal of the tournament, tied for the tournament lead. Now puts York Simcoe Express up by a goal. 6:35 to go in the second.
Oh, another rebound that's just as good as a pass here. York Simcoe producing shots on goal. I love it. You've got the power play. Go out there, get 5 shots on goal. They don't have to be perfect. York Simcoe delivering pucks onto Mayhew. Rebound gets kicked out there. McKim's right on the doorstep. And York Simcoe 2 for 2 on the power play, Bill. And if we thought their numbers were a little bit inflated from weaker competition, we've learned this week this team is potent when they get the man advantage.
So 2 for 2 now, York Simcoe Express. 9th power play goal of their 18 goals in the tourney. So it's officially 50% of the goals scored on the man advantage. It's saying something there to the opposition. Stay out of the box. McPherson, they're looking for more. That's deflected off the heel of McHenry's stick, and the slot just went wide. It's back to the point. Wrister in, kicked away there by Mayhew.
The back official's got a head contact penalty. And it looks like it's going to be Don Mills once again. This isn't good for Don Mills at all.
Discipline here in this second period has been their undoing. It's cost them a 1-goal lead. Now they're down by a goal, and it could be worse, as you see on the follow-through. Hands getting up high into the face of the YSE player.
And that's Tyler Weiss. It's going to be a minor, so we've seen how good the power play is, and for Coach Rob Shilton, he's got options, right? I mean, we see Hillis out there again on the point. The only thing you have to be worried about when you put 4 forwards out on the power play is defending, and right now Hillis has got to be a defenseman.
Chisholm gets it deep into the corner as Vaughn kills some time. 1-on-4 in the corner, does a pretty good job. Take a few extra seconds off the clock. That pass was behind Whitaker, so they'll regroup, but a much better start to this kill for the Flyers.
And right now, Bill, I think the Flyers are almost looking up at saying 5 minutes to intermission. Let's get there down 2-1, but that's a humongous 5 minutes that they're going to have to worry about. They've got to get engaged once again, just like they were in the first period.
Whitaker in a phone booth there with 2 Flyers on him, still maintains possession. Now he sends a quick pass out for McLean. Picks the pocket of a Flyer, shoots it wide. Whitaker from behind the net tries to center in front, takes a weird bounce at first off the skate of a Flyers player, and they finally, on his second opportunity, cleared out of the zone. 55 seconds remain in the power play.
It'll be interesting to see if Hillis comes off.
There's Vuko across.
A late call behind the play. The whistle's a little soft there because it's so far behind the play, and it's going to be an interference call. And we saw Hillis make a pass, and it seemed like the seas parted right there, but the back referee, Ryan Harrison, he's got an interference call. It looks like it's going to be against York Simcoe. Some confusion on who's going to the box right now. It looks like it's going to be number 24, Vuko, who had the puck on his stick. So this was picked up early in the neutral zone. We'll have 4-on-4 hockey for 50 seconds. Of course, the 4 official system used full-time in the OMHA and the Alliance at this age group, while the GTHO uses it at playoff time for the minor midgets and the midgets. And with that back official, it's really changed the game in terms of catching something behind the play. You almost wish you could do it at every age group, Bill. Minor Adam A can get out of hand sometimes, too. Maybe we need an extra body out there to watch those guys.
And another penalty.
This is going to be
called here.
A hooking call against the Don Mills Flyers. And we're going to have a unique scenario here. 4-on-3 as Rhodes goes to the box with a hook. And not many teams practice a 4-on-3. Heck, they're working on so many different systems. 4-on-3 is probably not in the repertoire, and that's just around the hands. You're water skiing at that point. You got to pull it down. It's so obvious to the official you're hanging on the back of the boat. So now 4-on-3. You figured this would be all about Hillis. I mean, all the space. He's lining up at center now.
So 4-on-3 for 33 seconds. YSE control it, looking to make it a 2-goal lead. McPherson, Robertson to McPherson. They're working a triangle right now. Here's McPherson, lots of room down low. They find Hillis. McPherson again, wrister deflects and goes off the side of the net. As though Mayhew got a piece of that one. Back to Robertson, fakes it. Robertson, the one-timer, scores on the power play again with 1 second left in Weiss's penalty. What a shot by Robertson, top corner past Mayhew, and that's 3 power play goals, 3 unanswered, and YSE have a 2-goal lead.
3 power play goals, all on legit calls. I mean, nothing borderline. The head contact minor to Weiss was very obvious. Robertson with enough time to crank it up there. I thought they were actually going to kill off their own 4-on-3 by passing it around. And I'm not sure if Daniel Bachner's just looking for the next calls. He's got both referees right there. But really, Bill, we get the opportunity to see these games. We get replay. We got all the monitors here. And really, which one isn't a call? I mean, they're all very obvious penalties, and Don Mills has to figure it out. While Rob Shilton, I mean, his team has been gifted these 3 power plays. Even the one time they took a penalty, Don Mills took a hooking call 15 seconds later. So he's probably thinking the hockey gods are going to pile on some late power plays here. But 3:52 to go. I really look at Don Mills, and I'm thinking, they're just trying to get to intermission to regroup, and it's just a long way from intermission right now.
So we go 4-on-4 once again for another minute. McBain pushes it forward. McBain comes in, protects the puck nicely there. Heisler's shot deflects by Vaughn. He's all tied up in front, as this one's chipped to Cranston. This one's fired in. Berezynski, he sees Vaughn coming, so he hangs on. Don Mills Flyers, we talk about what they've done here in this tournament. They've scored 21 times in what is now their 7th game. Think about all the hockey some of these guys have played over this week. It's your March break, but you can take the break out of it. 7 games since Tuesday for the Don Mills Flyers, a team that many wouldn't have pegged to be in this position in the Final Four. So they've worked hard, and the results have gone their way.
Well, it's usually, you know, a tournament starts on a Thursday, Bill, and they're doing the 7 games. So it started Tuesday, so you throw in the banquet there. I mean, it's been a great week. You and I have hung out at the rink and just enjoyed the fact that once we park our car 7 kilometers away, because the crowds have been so good, once we get in here and have a chance to sit down, we've been really enjoying the hockey. Great crowds, too. I can't believe how many people realizing now there's no gate, wide open. We had entire hockey teams here, younger kids teams during the day. It's been a great atmosphere.
There's Robertson putting on the moves. And another great turnout here tonight. And of course, after this, we have our other semifinals. We go 5-on-5 once again. McHenry takes it wide. Chisholm's on him. McHenry still has it on the backhand in front. Bucco tries the wraparound. Puck's loose. And I think the net has come off. Our other semifinal matchup, of course, being the Toronto Junior Canadians taking on the Toronto Marlies. The rivalry renewed once again. Last time these two teams played in the OHL Cup, 2 years ago in the final. That was won 5-0 by the Marlies. Michael McLeod now playing for the Mississauga Steelheads. That was your MVP, his brother, of course, MVP the following year. Both now on the Steelheads. Are putting together an impressive young roster. Owen Tippett from the Toronto Red Wings a year ago, he's there. Alexander Nylander, brother, of course, of Maple Leafs prospect William Nylander, also on that team. Future's looking good for the Mississauga Steelheads after some tough years as Cranston works this on the far side. McHenry gets it back on a cross ice. Now we're seeing the speed pick up here for YSE in this second period. Goss in front. Mayhew gets a piece of that one. Now back to the point. St. John. That bounces over a stick. Mansurov pulls this one back. St. John steals it. Good play one-on-one. Fans looking for a call. They're not going to get it, but as two players sprawl on top of the puck, we will stop things with 1 minute and 22 seconds remaining. Just to get you caught up, Jaden Vaughn opened up the scoring in the first, and YSE 3 unanswered, all 3 on the power play. McLean, McKim, and Robertson.
OMHA's #1 ranked team, York Simcoe, the Flyers 5th in the regular season, so you knew that the Flyers would have a lot of work here against a powerhouse Express team, and they are really going to have to put together some offensive attack, because I just haven't seen it in the second period. They've been killing off penalties, and that could just tire you out when you have to rely on getting back into the game 5-on-5.
Penalty kill, which has struggled in the tournament. Whitaker fakes the shot, brings it out in front. 2 YSE forwards. Fan on that one. There was a wide open net. McKim and Hillis, they both misfire, and the net comes off.
Wave after wave. Hillis goes to the net. helps take it off right there. That helps out Mayhew, the goaltender for the Flyers, as the faceoff comes outside. Even fixes it for the goaltender. A little too late as the whistle had blown.
Hillis sends it forward on the draw. Chisholm splits between a pair. Smooth skating defenseman. 50 seconds to go now in this second period. Taking a chance. Outlet pass. They were looking for a breakaway, and a penalty is coming up here to Whitaker of YSE. Interference on that outlet pass. He takes down a Flyers player inadvertently, but enough to warrant a penalty. So late, we will see the Flyers get technically their second power play, although the first one lasted for a mere seconds.
Well, he's looking for the puck right there, and an innocent play. He did take the Don Mills Flyers player down, and that was his argument, saying, hey, I'm just looking for the puck. And you called it. 44 seconds to go in the period. The Flyers should be looking to get something on the board here. I know you want the fresh ice and you can think about regrouping, but get some shots on goal if you want to make York Simcoe play a little bit of defense in this period.
McBain's pass back for Chisholm. Bounces over his stick. Chisholm being pursued heavily by McDougall. Nice job. Forces him all the way back behind his net. 20 seconds to go in this second period. This could be big for the Flyers, who come in 19% power play in the tournament. There's a big hit thrown behind the goal line, but weird result. DeVoe sends it out in front blindly, was hoping for something in the dying stages of the second period. But it's YSC's power play. That was the difference once they got their legs going in the second period.
Well, it was absolutely legit through the OMHA regular season, playoffs, and once again at the OHL Cup. 3 power play goals for York Simcoe, showing you how good their offense can be.
All right, time for us to take a quick break, and we'll be back to talk about what happened in those first 2 periods as the York Simcoe Express, McLean, McKim, and Robertson, 3 unanswered. They've got themselves a 2-goal lead after 2. We'll be back on Rogers TV. All right, welcome back to the pond. There's a look after 2. It's our first of 2 semifinals here at the 2016 OHL Cup, and YSE, they've got a 3-1 lead over the Don Mills Flyers. And hello again, everybody, back here on Rogers TV. It's Bill and it's Pete. Well, we were wondering, it was a slow start for YSE, but notoriously they've been slow starters in this tournament. I mean, they struggled out of the gates against the Red Wings, and the Rebels today got to them early on, but once they get going, we see what a beast this team is. The depth that they have, the offense that they get from their defense as well, what we've seen from McPherson and Robertson. This team really has that sort of total package, what we've seen from the Mississauga Rebels in the GTHL. This is the OMHA's equivalent in York Simcoe Express.
Well, you look at the first period, and the Flyers had the giveaway goal they scored on. Then they had 2 breakaways that they didn't score on. And those were the 2 best opportunities to build up something against a York Simcoe team. And you've heard me say it over and over again, you know, I'm referee friendly, but the penalties have been legit.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been a tough call and then a power play goal. York Simcoe has created those power plays because of hard work and forcing Don Mills to take a penalty. And then all of a sudden, you're 3 for 3 on the power play. And Don Mills right now, they really needed this intermission.
Yeah, you'll see exactly what Pete's talking about in our second period highlights. And all 3 of those YSC goals, you can see the Flyers. That was one that had a crazy bounce. We saw one in the Junior Canadians game where it came off the backboards on the power play right to Paul, who put it home. But Berezynski, he was busy at the start, but YSC, they got their legs going throughout that period. A big hit thrown on Robertson, but at that time, hey, YSC, they'll take